Well, Mr. Dale, I think your time has come. This man is about to speak, recognizes that we can win this district. He's got the troops on the ground. He's got the grassroots efforts. Chances are you probably heard from him at least once by now. Our next Texas House, District 136 Rep. John Bucy.
How y'all doing today, Williamson County? Let's get loud. Let's hear it from them. I know you've heard from a lot of candidates today, and there's been a recurring theme, and that theme is that we are working for a better Texas, and we can do it together. Let's hear it for all those candidates. You've heard a bunch of speakers. My name is John Bucy, and I'm running for state representative in District 136. District 136 is made up of Northwest Austin, Cedar Park, Leander, and the Brushy Creek area. Before we move into the speech, I do want to take a second to recognize I have a beautiful wife, Molly, that's here today. She's a public pre-K school teacher here in Williamson County. I also have to say hi to my 4-year-old brother standing on the stairs in the back. We're working for him, so let's hear it for Daniel Bucy. I want to take just a minute of my speech to briefly talk about my opponent. My opponent, Tony Dell, has only been in office for one term. One failed term that brought us underfunded schools. One failed term that left over 1 million Texans in this state uninsured. And one failed term that stripped women of their rights. One failed term is enough. I need your help to throw this failed leader out of the people's capital. But let's not focus on him. This isn't a story about my opponent. This is a story about Texas, and it is a call to action for a great future that our children deserve. I entered this race because I've grown tired of living under these failed leaders with their failed policies that have allowed this great state of Texas of ours to fall further and further behind. But I have hope that together, with hard work and your votes and my vote, we can turn Texas into the state that is leading the way for the nation. Our state of Texas is a great state with a great story. She's a story of hard work and sacrifice, a story of hope for all of her people. And for a long time, Texas was a place where if you worked hard and you played by the rules, you'd have money in your pockets, food in your belly, shelter over your head, and great schools for your children. Our future was bright. But now with legislators like my opponent and 20 years long into Republican rule, we live in a state where our kids go to bed hungry at night. We live in a state where women are paid less than men. And we live in a Texas where women are stripped of their autonomy over their own bodies, and the Republicans at the Capitol call it progress. This must end. This must end. The Republicans of Texas have created a state with underfunded schools and the highest dropout rates in America. A Republican state that has left over 1 million people uninsured for Rick Perry's political gain. This is not the Texas our children deserve, and we can't continue down this path. When you send me to the Capitol, I will work for the future that our kids deserve. I will fight every day for the rights of every single one of the women in this state. I will fight to make sure that all Texans have affordable health care, and we will start by accepting Medicaid expansion. I will fight to make sure that all children have access to the greatest public schools here in the state of Texas. And the list doesn't stop there. We must continue the fight for equality for all of Texas's people. We must solve our water and transportation crises. We must bring more professional jobs here to Williamson County. We have to implement smart environmental policies. We need to repeal this discriminatory voter ID bill. We have to do more for our seniors. And if we repeal it, it's discriminating and it's hurting the voters and it's hurting Democrats. We have to do more for our seniors, and if we truly want that Texas for our children, that great Texas, we must make higher education more affordable, and we must work to solve the staggering poverty rates here in Texas. I can't win and I can't fight for these things without your help. It's going to take all of us to get the Texas that our children deserve. Texas is currently at a crossroads, and it is time for each and every one of us to decide. Will we roll up our sleeves, work together, organize and create a great Texas, one for all of her people? Or will we wake up on the morning after Election Day with 4 more years of the same? 4 more years of underfunded schools. 4 more years of intrusion into the rights of women. Let us not wake up to that bitter taste of defeat in our mouths, left over from knowing that we could have done more and that each and every one of us should have done more. Today, we all have a choice to make. We can continue to live in that failed state of Bush, Perry, and Abbott, or we can choose to live in a Texas with a bright future for our children. A Texas led by Wendy Davis and Letitia Vanderpue, and Democrats up and down the ticket. Yeah. The choice for that Texas is entirely up to each and every one of us. We have the votes in Williamson County to win these races, but we have to work, we have to work, we have to work. People must show up at the polls. The late, great Senator Paul Wellstone once said, "We can remake the world daily." What will you do? How will you be the change that Texas needs? Our children's future is in your hands. It is not enough just to come to the convention, and it is not enough just to vote on Election Day. This is just the beginning. Our children's future is determined every single day. It is determined by how many calls you make, by how many doors you knock on, and by how many new voters you register to vote for Democrats in Texas. That is how we get the change that we need for our children, and that is how we give them the great future that they deserve. We win by showing up and fighting for that future every single day. How will you remake the world today? With hard work, we can put Texas on the right path for a better future. And for those keeping time, I'll close with this. With a promise to each and every one of the Williamson County Democrats in this room. If you knock on those doors, and if you make those phone calls and register those voters, there is nobody that we can't beat. Together, there is no opponent that we can't tackle and no challenge that we can't overcome. And there is no one that can stand in the way of us achieving the future that our children deserve. The future is up to each and every one of us. Let's remake this world every day, and let's turn Texas into the state that is leading the way. Thank you guys.